Today, I want to talk about something that millions of people drink every single morning without realizing what it is actually doing to their body: coffee. But not the coffee people used to drink. The modern version has quietly transformed into something else entirely, something far more dangerous than most people understand. Before we go deeper, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because here we talk about the real effects of food, drinks, and everyday habits on the human body. These are things most people never hear about, but they should. Now, let me ask you a question. If your coffee contains caramel sauce, vanilla syrup, chocolate drizzle, whipped cream, flavored foam, and half a cup of sweet milk, is it still coffee? Or is it actually a dessert disguised as a drink? As a doctor, I see something disturbing happening in modern nutrition habits. What many people call their morning coffee is often closer to a liquid dessert than a beverage. Some of the drinks people order today contain more sugar than an entire slice of cake, and yet people drink them every single day, sometimes twice a day, sometimes 3 times. What worries me most is not just the amount of sugar. It is how invisible the calories have become. When you eat food, your body naturally slows you down. Your stomach stretches, digestion takes time, and hormones signal fullness to the brain. But drinks behave very differently. You can drink 600 or even 800 calories in a few minutes, and your brain barely registers it as a meal. Your stomach does not stretch the same way. Your body does not activate the same fullness signals, and the result is simple. You drink a sugary coffee, and then you still eat breakfast. Later you eat lunch. Later you eat dinner. The calories from that drink never replace a meal. They simply stack on top of everything else. Over time, that daily habit becomes something much bigger. Weight gain does not appear overnight. It happens slowly, quietly, and consistently, from small daily surpluses that repeat over months and years. But there is another reason why these drinks are so powerful. Sugar changes how your brain works. Coffee by itself is naturally bitter. The human brain evolved to be cautious around bitterness because it could signal toxins in nature. Sugar does the opposite. Sugar activates the brain's reward system and releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and habit formation. When sugar is mixed with caffeine, something very interesting happens. The bitterness disappears. The brain receives a powerful reward signal, and suddenly the drink is no longer just coffee. It becomes comfort. It becomes routine. It becomes something your brain begins to crave every morning. After repeated exposure, the brain starts associating that drink with emotional relief, energy, and pleasure. This is how a simple beverage quietly turns into a daily addiction. And the modern coffee industry knows this very well. Look at the menus in most cafes today. The drinks that are promoted the most are not simple coffee options. They are complex combinations of syrups, flavored creams, sweet foams, and decorative toppings. These drinks are carefully designed to taste sweet, look beautiful, and feel like a treat. They are marketed as seasonal experiences, as lifestyle moments, as small daily rewards. But underneath all of that marketing, the reality is much simpler. Many of these drinks contain 50, 60, sometimes even 80 grams of sugar in a single cup. That is more sugar than many desserts. And when people consume that much sugar in liquid form, the body processes it extremely quickly. Blood sugar rises, insulin spikes, energy surges briefly, and then comes the crash. That crash is what makes people crave the next sweet drink, and the cycle begins again the next day. This is not just about coffee. This is about a daily habit that slowly rewires the brain, influences metabolism, and quietly contributes to one of the biggest health problems we see today. So before you order your next extra sweet caramel vanilla foam coffee tomorrow morning, ask yourself one honest question. Do you actually want coffee, or are you simply feeding a sugar addiction that hides inside a coffee cup? The hidden trap of sugary coffee, why your brain keeps wanting more. Now, let us go deeper, because the real problem with sugary coffee drinks is not just the calories. The real problem is how they affect the brain. Many people believe they are drinking coffee for energy. They think caffeine is the main reason they buy that drink every morning. But in reality, for many people, the brain is not craving caffeine at all. It is craving sugar and dopamine. You see, the human brain is designed to repeat behaviors that bring pleasure and relief. This is how survival habits were formed thousands of years ago. When something gives the brain a reward, the brain remembers it, and then it asks for it again. Sweet coffee drinks deliver a powerful combination of signals that the brain loves. First, caffeine stimulates the nervous system and increases alertness. Second, sugar triggers a strong dopamine release, creating a feeling of pleasure. Third, the warmth and routine of the drink create a sense of comfort and stability. Together, these three signals create something very powerful, a habit loop. You wake up, you feel tired. You buy a sweet coffee, you feel better. Your brain records that moment as a solution. The next morning, your brain remembers that solution and pushes you toward the same behavior again. Over time, the drink becomes part of your daily identity. Some people even say things like, "I can't function without my morning coffee." But very often what they actually mean is, "I can't function without my morning sugar." And this is where things become interesting from a medical perspective. Liquid sugar is processed extremely quickly by the body. When you eat a meal, digestion takes time. Nutrients enter the bloodstream gradually. But when sugar is dissolved in a drink, it reaches the bloodstream much faster. Blood glucose rises rapidly. Insulin is released to bring it down. This sudden spike and drop creates a cycle that many people recognize: a burst of energy, then fatigue, then cravings for more sugar. This pattern is often called a sugar roller coaster, and when it happens every day, it can slowly contribute to larger metabolic problems. Over time, frequent sugar spikes can increase the risk of conditions such as insulin resistance, weight gain, metabolic syndrome, type 2 diabetes. But there is another factor that makes sugary coffee drinks especially dangerous, and that is liquid calories. The human body does not treat liquid calories the same way it treats food. When you eat a meal, your stomach stretches and sends fullness signals to the brain. Hormones such as GLP-1 and leptin communicate that you have consumed enough energy. But when calories are consumed in liquid form, many of those signals are weaker. You can drink a large, sweet coffee containing 500 to 800 calories, and your brain may still behave as if you have not eaten anything. Later that morning, you will still feel hungry, so you eat breakfast. Later, you eat lunch. Later, you eat dinner. The drink never replaces a meal. It simply adds extra calories to the day. And when that happens every day for months or years, the effect becomes significant. A daily drink that adds 400 or 500 extra calories can easily translate into tens of thousands of additional calories per year. And most people never realize it. But the story does not end with biology. There is also psychology. Modern coffee culture has turned these drinks into small emotional rewards. When people feel stressed, tired, or overwhelmed, they often look for something simple that can make the moment feel better. A sweet drink becomes that moment. Psychologists sometimes call this compensatory consumption. When larger life goals feel distant, buying a home, taking a long vacation, achieving financial stability, people turn to smaller pleasures that are immediately available. A sweet coffee becomes a tiny luxury, something controllable, something comforting, something that feels like a reward. And that is exactly why these drinks have become so popular. They are not just beverages, they are emotional rituals. But as a doctor, I always remind my patients of something important. Pleasure in moderation is not the problem. The problem begins when a daily habit slowly damages the body without us noticing. So if you enjoy coffee, drink coffee. A simple espresso, a small latte, black coffee with a splash of milk. But if your coffee tastes like caramel candy, whipped cream, and vanilla frosting,
then you are not drinking coffee. You are drinking sugar with caffeine, and your body always knows the difference.